Hi, my name is Lisa, Hot Baked Italian. Thank you so much for watching me today, and I am going to be making one of my favorite Italian dishes, stuffed shells. So please continue watching, and I'll be right back.
Notte giorno d'intorno girando, delle belle tue balle al riposo, narcisetto arancino d'amor, delle belle.
Hi, thank you for continuing to watch. So today's dish is stuffed shells, one of my favorite Italian dishes, one that I made with my mom while growing up all the time, and one that didn't really have any recipe per se. I always just kind of watched her, we kind of did it together, and she was just kind of throwing ingredients in. Stuffed shells are actually pretty easy to make, not very difficult, but they can take a lot of time. So the best idea is to kind of break it down into steps. And one of the first things you do need is to have some pasta sauce. Now I made mine a week ago in preparation for doing shells. I knew I wanted to make some stuffed shells soon. So I made my sauce a week ago and stuck it in the freezer, took it out last night, thawed it out, and got it on the stove right now, just cooking low, just to heat it up. So you can get that out of the way. You can do that a week before, 2 weeks before, 2 nights before. You can do it the day of. So whatever is convenient for you. And it's just that it's one big step that can be out of the way early. The next thing is to get our shells cooking. Now we use the big shells. So they're looking like that. Now you can usually find these shells sometimes at the grocery stores, usually like at Trader Joe's, Sprouts. Okay, you can find the shells. Now normally I would do 1 bag, but I'm kind of using up some things here, and I'm going to go ahead and cook 2 bags. And this is going to be a large amount of shells that I'm cooking. But I'm planning to freeze some trays, make some pans and freeze them so that I can give some to my mom and my daughter. And whatever I don't stuff, I can just serve with sauce. Okay, so I'll stuff as many as I can and then just serve the rest of them with sauce later on. So let me get these into the water boiling, and I'm gonna cook these for about 4 minutes. You want these to be al dente. Okay, it's okay for them to be a little bit hard, a little bit firm, so that they can continue cooking in the oven when you're baking them with everything. So let's get that water boiling and get these in. Okay, my water came to a boil, and once it came to a boil, I put salt in it, poured in my 2 bags of shells, and I put my timer on for 4 minutes, and we'll just have a little over 2 minutes left. So we'll let these boil, continue to boil, and get ready to go make some of the filling. All right, so my shells are continuing to cook, and that just kind of a couple reminders that I will put the link below for the spaghetti sauce that I have made a few shows back. And also I had some meatballs in the freezer, and I took a few of those out and put that in the sauce. That would be really nice to serve with the meatballs. So I took some of those and put that in with the meatballs. I also will put that link below so that you have access to that from a few shows back. All right, now, so for ingredients, you just need some ricotta cheese, and because of the quantity that I plan on stuffing, I am using both a large and a small container of the ricotta cheese. I have 3 eggs. I took fresh mozzarella and grated it, and it's over 2 cups here. I'm not sure how much I'm going to use out of that, but they're just over 2 cups, so I know I won't use quite that much. And I have some fresh parsley that I'm going to chop up real fine, a little bit of that. And kind of just a little tip on the parsley is that I had bought this a week ago. This bunch was bought 1 week ago, and I put it in the, oops, there's my noodles, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna let those go just a little bit longer, they're still a little too firm. So anyway, as I was saying, the parsley I bought a week ago, and I put it in a glass. You can do a glass or a container, fill it up with some water, and put it in the fridge. This is parsley that I just bought today. So you can really see, it just stays so fresh. I leave it open, don't cover it. Works great with cilantro too, so either one, but it's a great way to keep your parsley fresh for a lot longer. It's just a matter of taking it out of the bag. All right, let's kind of start. So I'm watching that back there. Get all this ricotta in here.
So the shells weren't quite done?
No, they weren't. A little too firm. You don't want them quite that firm. You want them a little bit flexible so that you can actually handle them, move them. All right, got the ricotta in there. We're gonna get 3 eggs. All right, let me chop up some of this parsley. And I do use the Italian flat leaf parsley. I use that with everything. I just like the flavor, I like the look of it, as even if you're using it for just kind of an accent decorative. All right, go check those shells. All right, so the 6 minutes end up being perfect for this. So I'm just gonna pour these in my strainer that was all ready. I give you a nice facial there for steam if you need one of those while you're cooking this. All right, so I'm gonna rinse these off in cool water so they won't stick and they won't continue cooking. All right, just take one out. You can see that it's firm, but it's movable and it's, a little bit pliable, okay? So if I was to tear it, break it, or open it too much, it would definitely tear. So you want to be careful with that. But again, once you cook them and bake them in the oven, these will get really soft, so you don't want to mush. All right, we'll let those finish draining there. Okay, back to our parsley. Now the parsley in the filling is decorative. I mean, it looks nice. It's nice to have that little bit of contrast of green, and it does give it some really nice fresh flavor. But you don't want it to be overpowering, so you don't want a lot of it in there. So, I don't know, maybe 1/4 cup. And that's using for both the big and the small container. So let's see how that looks and see if we need to add any more. Now, as I was saying earlier, I am making a large quantity of stuffed shells here because I do want to give them away to some family. But they do freeze great. I do them in aluminum pans, and I do enough for a meal, and they can just be popped right in the oven. Take them out, thaw them earlier that day. You can put them in the refrigerator while you're at work and have them thawed out, and then put them right into the oven. And then have a little more extra sauce when they come out of the oven, so that you can just put them on top as put a little more sauce on top as you serve them. Get some garlic bread, make a salad, and this is a great dish for family, for company. Put a couple extra meatballs on a plate, and it looks pretty impressive. All right, I think that is looking good. Let's just make sure that's really mixed up though. I still see some egg and a few little lumps. The egg is the binder in here to help hold the cheese all together. Okay. And I'm gonna throw in now some of the mozzarella. Again, fresh mozzarella, or just buy a package of already shredded mozzarella. Okay, now that measuring cup was filled to the top. It's a 2-cup measuring cup, and was filled to the top. So I have about a cup left in there. So I used maybe cup and a half of mozzarella cheese in here. Okay. And that's it. That's your stuffing. So very simple and easy, but it now is the timey part. Now is the part that takes a lot of time, and that is stuffing.
Time consuming.
Thank you. Now is the time consuming part, is stuffing the shells. So I do have my first pan. I went ahead and sprayed it, so that just helped the sticking. And I'm gonna put a little bit of sauce at the bottom of this. All right, there we go. So you can see just a little bit of sauce to layer on the bottom. And let me just get some of this stuff out of the way. Okay, all right, and here we go. I don't think there's really any easy way to do it. It's just getting your hands in there and getting dirty. All right, and I'll put them right there. Okay, so I'm going to stop that at one pan like that. Now, you can use a bigger pan and make more of them at one time if you like, you know, depending if you're doing for a full family or having friends over. So now that I have that, I am going to put some sauce on top of it. So let me go ahead and pour some sauce on it. And I think I'm going to take the rest of the mozzarella cheese and sprinkle it on top. And this is ready to go in the oven. As you can see, it's actually pretty simple to make, but just a little bit time consuming. And I just did the one pan. So let me go ahead and get these in the oven. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees. And these are gonna bake probably about 30 to 40 minutes. So they're nice, hot, and bubbly. And I will be back then after that is ready. All right, so these were in here about 30 minutes. Didn't take quite as long since they were already, everything was warm and wasn't out of the freezer. So let's get these over here. Oh, smell fantastic. Now, if you were taking these out of the freezer, you probably would take closer to 40, 45 minutes to get them nice, hot, and bubbly. All right. And before I dig into here, actually, I'm going to dish up a couple just so that it can start maybe cooling off a little bit here. I'd like to do, I'm going to put a little sauce, extra sauce. All right, I'm going to let that cool for just a moment. Now, while this was cooking, I went ahead and filled the rest of those shells. And as you can see here, this is what I got accomplished here. And this was actually just shy of 4 dozen shells. I had about, that were filled, and I had about 10 shells left that I had no filling. I ran out of filling. So I just kind of took those empty shells and just kind of stuffed them in here. So they're off to the sides, they all were used. I finished them even before this was done baking. So by the time that it took to finish cooking this, I finished stuffing all the rest of the shells. So it didn't take me all that much longer to do. But in the meantime though, you might want to be doing a salad, getting some garlic bread, setting the table, and getting that ready. Okay, now these are all ready to go in the freezer. So I will get those in the freezer, get them frozen, and then I will be able to use those for a meal for myself. I'll give one to my daughter, to my mother, and let them also enjoy this too. So let's see how these came out. Yeah, see now the shells are really soft now, perfect, after baking in the oven. Be really hot. Manja, very good. Yep, they came out as always as good as I remember. I hope you try this recipe. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. I hope you subscribe if you enjoy this recipe and check out my other ones. Remember, I will put the links below for the meatballs and the spaghetti sauce. And I hope I see you again. Thank you for watching Hot Baked Italian.
Intorno girando, delle belle tue balle al riposo, Narcisetto arancino d'amor, delle belle